A Bitcoin bear just gave a warning that we're about to see a massive crash. He says to sell now. I want to talk through his thinking on this. I also want to go through everything that's happening right now. We actually saw more manipulation just now from some whales and some exchanges, market makers, and Tim Draper, who is I'd say one of the best investors of our time, probably funded more unicorns, meaning billion-dollar companies, than just about anyone. He just talked about something, why the government should buy Bitcoin, and something just clicked for me. It's really interesting what he's saying here, and it could, I don't want to say bulletproof America, but it could definitely help a lot. And it's not just because of making money. It's something a little bit different. So I want to walk through that. That will be towards the end of the video. Do not miss that. Like, if you have to, skip forward to that part because it is very fascinating, but I'd stay through for the whole video so you know what's happening. If you want, you can check out the Telegram underneath the video. I post early access videos and exclusive videos there. So I just made a video the other day, what I'm buying, but I also give news sometimes a little bit faster there. Once you join there, you can actually get one-on-one access with someone at BYDeFi as well. If you have a sizable portfolio or you're trading a good amount, there are instructions on that. If you want to start trading today, you can check out BYDeFi. We have a trading competition, but it's really like a trading giveaway. It's up to $23,600. So as time goes on, as more and more people trade, we add more money to this prize pool. You can also get access to leverage, which right now is a great time to trade, in my opinion, because we're seeing some volatility and we've already seen a pullback, which means all future positions are more lucrative, right? I would rather use leverage when we're on a pullback, when we're in a tight range versus at all-time highs. So if you want to start trading, check this out underneath the video. Now, Bitcoin just fell back down. It actually hit new lows as of just a few minutes ago, but it bounced back very quickly. You can see, though, we went about $100 below where we went yesterday when we saw this massive liquidation event. This was from one whale selling a lot of Bitcoin, 24,000 Bitcoin. It looks like they just market sold, and then that caused a lot of liquidations very quickly. With that in mind, we bounced back up, came back down, saw some more manipulation overnight, quick liquidation event to a slightly lower low, and then continued to move up. Marty Party shows the liquidation levels from 15 hours ago. You can see they went to the bottom of this range. So we just hit, for example, 195 on Solana, which is what was right here on the bottom edge of that range. We hit 4,538, which was right at the bottom end of this range. And then we hit the 110,500 right on the bottom of the range yesterday as well. So yeah, market makers, manipulators, exchanges coming out to try to force out even more liquidations, which, let's look at this, crypto liquidations. We had about 30 million or so, 22 million in the last 4 hours. So not a huge amount. Most longs were liquidated yesterday. You can see 684 million, but you can see some more were liquidated in the last 12 hours, like overnight when we started to fall back down. When we saw people build up long positions here, they got wiped out once again. If you get too aggressive, this happens. So be careful, right? That's why I love low leverage. Now, there are some people buying today. You can see Metaplanet buying 103 Bitcoin over last week. MicroStrategy buying 3,081. So Metaplanet slowing down a little bit. MicroStrategy buying a little bit more actually than they've been buying recently. But a lot of this is due to their change. Last week they said we're actually going to sell MSTR shares if we feel like it, basically under a 2.5 MNAV. So now they're willing to sell shares, and this is where the majority of the proceeds came from. I see some people giving them a hard time saying, hey, you're diluting again, while they say, they're buying some more Bitcoin. The haters are going to say, well, you're not really giving a 25.4% year-to-date yield because you're diluting at the same time. What I'd actually like to see is some kind of metric, and I don't think they have this, but like the accretive yield. So instead of just showing me how much Bitcoin you bought this year, it's great that you bought 25.4%, but how much have you diluted at the same time compared to the actual value of your Bitcoin? So if, for example, you have a 10% year-to-date yield, but you've traded at a 2x MNAV, then I would kind of treat that as a 5% real yield. So I'd like to see some kind of metric like that. I'm not sure if there is one out there. Let me know. Moving on, though, we do have some companies buying altcoins as well. STSS announces a $400 million private placement aimed at building the world's largest Sol treasury. We also have Galaxy Digital, Multicoin, and Jump Crypto planning to buy $1 billion of Solana. So a couple different entities looking at Solana as a strategic reserve, which I've said I think Solana could see a pump next, especially once we return. Actually, you can already see it's at 197. It set a higher high once again yesterday. Looks like maybe a higher low as well. But I'd be watching this. I think Solana could do really well coming up here soon, especially if we get back into a more bullish market, which I'm not saying that we aren't in a bull market or a bullish market, but obviously we've seen a little bit of uncertainty over the last day, at least for retail investors. I don't think any of these treasury companies are going to be thrown off, but it does affect the risk that they're able to take. Obviously, there's a certain appetite among investors that's different if the market's falling down versus going up. Jacob King, a longtime Bitcoin bear, says an estimated 93% of retail Bitcoin investors today have not been through a single real bear market. When Bitcoin crashes, it won't just dip, it will obliterate every so-called gain propped up by this artificial, unsustainable scam bubble. If you're still holding, take profits while you still can. Those who don't will be wiped out completely. Now, I liked this because I wanted to comment on this. I didn't actually like what he said because I think it's very misleading. An estimated 93% of retail investors today have never been through a single real bear market. Now, I'm not sure how he defines a real bear market. I consider what happened in 2022 and 2023 a real bear market. We went down from 69,000 down to 16,500. So we went down 80% or so. And I guarantee you 93% of the market is not new since then. That means just one out of every, 30 people or so? No, one out of every 20 people has been around through that bear market, which is just not true at all. I'd say the majority of Bitcoiners have been through a bear market. I don't think we've doubled in size this cycle in terms of retail investors. I don't think that's the case at all. So there will be people that have been through previous bear markets that will sit through another one. There are new people that will sit through a bear market as well. And we don't know when the bear market will start. What we've seen so far is just 10 to 30% pullbacks, right? Constantly, and less volatility than we've seen in previous bull markets as well. So saying that Bitcoin will crash, it won't just dip. Yeah, of course it will crash. There will be some 30% crash. Technically 20% is a crash. I feel like with Bitcoin, it's more like 30% is a true crash just because it's extra volatile compared to other assets. But I don't think that this is some scam bubble, right? I think saying that 93% haven't been through a bear market is also really misleading. And yeah, taking profits is probably smart, depending on what you want to do. Obviously, if you just want to stack as much Bitcoin as possible, then don't take profits. But if you are someone that wants to get out this bull run, it's probably smart to take profits along the way. And you're never going to time the top perfectly. I still haven't sold any of my spot Bitcoin, but there have been profits I've taken from some altcoins and from levered positions throughout the bull run. And I think that's smart. Now, am I selling out the majority of my crypto? No, because I've also opened up new positions as time goes on at important levels. But I definitely will be taking profits more aggressively on altcoins in this fourth quarter because this is typically when we top out. This is a very interesting video. A hedge against all bad governance is to buy Bitcoin, says Tim Draper. As I said earlier in the video, Tim Draper is a very good investor. Let me just play this first a little bit so you can hear his intro.
One of the earliest crypto investors is back to over 30 unicorns, including Tesla, SpaceX, Skype, Coinbase, and Robinhood, just to name a few of his big winnings.
Then he comes on and speaks for about 8 minutes. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but he makes an important point, or a very interesting point, something that maybe I've just missed the market on, and maybe I've already learned this and forgotten it because I've been around in crypto for a while now. But I've oftentimes thought of the US government as buying Bitcoin as kind of a hedge against losing US dollar dominance, or against or just being able to build wealth in general, buying this scarce asset while it's still attainable. One thing that I haven't thought about it though, thought about it as a direct hedge against stupidity of future politicians, right? And that's why a lot of retail investors buy it, but I haven't really thought about that for the government. And it's really interesting. Hopefully it will click for you. Basically, the stupider the government is, the better Bitcoin will do. So if the government is really smart about how they approach the future and they don't inflate the dollar or deflate the value of the dollar quite as much, if they're not throwing out money left and right, well, Bitcoin might not do quite as well, but also their currency will do well. If the government continues to do what I think it's going to do and what a lot of other people think, but just throw out money left and right, try to fix problems with money, continue to deflate the dollar, continue to lose power over time because of stupidity and political greed, then their Bitcoin will go up almost exactly with how stupid they are. It's almost a direct hedge against their own stupidity. And I was trying to think of some way that this could be similar to something in personal finance, but there's really nothing. There's nothing that, like, I was thinking, actually, I was talking to ChatGPT about this, and it suggested it's similar to like buying investments. You can be stupid with your money because you still have the investments that are going up, but that's not true. It's not like your investment goes up more with how stupid you are with your spending. No, it goes up irrespective of your spending. I'd say it's more like if you are someone that eats and overeats and overeats and overeats, you're going to get fat and die essentially one day. You're going to have problems. And that's basically what the government's doing right now. They're overspending and overspending and overspending. This is like if you had a magic pill that you could buy, and however much you overeat, it increases your metabolism with basically no side effects and helps you burn those calories. So you could eat 5,000 calories a day and it would burn 5,000. And it would basically just keep you at homeostasis. That's essentially what it is. Like, that's what buying Bitcoin could be for the US government, which is just so fascinating. It's a great hedge. And I'm not sure I've thought about it directly like that or exactly like that in the past. Let me know your thoughts on that though underneath the video. Does that make sense? Was this kind of a light bulb or no? Maybe I'm just thinking about it too much. Let me know your thoughts on that though. Also, if you want to trade, like I said, there are links underneath the video. You can check out BYDeFi. You can also start trading if you want and you haven't used multiple platforms already. I would suggest having multiple platforms. I think a lot of people make the mistake of just using one platform, but oftentimes there's volatility. And even just last week, we had multiple exchanges go down due to the volatility. And sometimes different platforms roll out different features that you might want to try. So check out the link to the other exchanges as well. There are links to BLOFIN, BTCC, Weeks, and BTCC as well. So try out those platforms. I really do appreciate you guys watching. I'll see you in the next one.